karma are close behind me. In hopes of losing the scent of all my bad deeds of body, speech, and mind, I race down to the river of my spiritual energy. But I find the river low, more a series of pools than any kind of flow of transcendent, higher consciousness. The barking gets louder, and I hurry on down the river bed, scrambling over boulders of doubt and thick clusters of rocky troubles. Despite all of my exertions, I become mud stuck in this groggy mess of confusion. I cry out for some relief. Amitabha, help me. Whether due to my own good karma ripening or the grace of a bodhisattva passing by, Amitabha has entered my life. He is coming low from upstream, a frothing wave rushing around my ankles, the swirling waters quickly freeing my feet and tossing aside my karmic hounds. Amitabha fills in the riverbed for me with his resolve to save those who recite his name. The buoyancy of the Buddha name lifts me up into the current of the now flowing river. Bobbing comfortably, all the many pebbles of resentments I have collected in my pockets fall now to the river bottom. No longer weighted down, my spirit becomes light, and I can stretch out my body as I float and wiggle my toes downstream towards the Pure Land. I still get scrapes and bangs and bounce off from submerged branches, but at times it also feels like I am soaring in the Buddha name as I round another bend in this river. Now when the white seabirds appear overhead, I'll know the ocean of bliss lies just ahead. Time to leave this muddy river for the clear waters of the sea, where in the west the sun hangs like a drum over the horizon. Amitabha. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, I feel like I've just meditated. All right, next up we have M.L. Heath, followed by Brian Egdorf and Alan Harris. M.L. Heath.
Three quick ones. First being, this is not a poem by Magritte or A Day Ignored. In the rush hour of downtown, I wait for a bus and look around, seeing melting onyx instead of streets, strawberries instead of faces, and faces instead of bank accounts. A day ignored, perhaps, by Monsieur René, busy with boulevardiers, shrubs, shaving kits, skyscapes. A day ignored, perhaps, by Robert Frank, busy with midnight jukeboxes, airborne couplings, and mixed exile good fun. Then again, I have my share of days ignored, where the decision between chainsaws or jazz, the decision between coffee or Guinness has made all the difference. National Poetry Month. This is for a one-time local poet. It's called My Favorite Poet in Town. My favorite poet in town is a cheery My favorite poet in town is a candy apple red 1967 Pontiac GTO on a slow motion careen through the Mission at Sunday sunrise. I hear it once ran on Nitro and Jim Beam. Nowadays overhauled, burning cleaner. Flames pluming off its rear wheels dissolve into Yakuza ink and air. All lost on those who only await the parting of iron bodega gates. And this last one's for all the lovers. I think there might be one or two here. And the gentleman in the back. This is called gratitude. Being a civilized Western creature, I am eternally grateful for the mouthwash I rinse after cigarettes around these midlife gums before we kiss. Grateful for that, and more kisses, and what sometimes comes after. Grateful for the love we share, the dare within ourselves to confound the status quo unknown, still flickers and flames between our bodies and names. Still holding a shared truth, though long past young, the youth, believing in our lives and passions shared, still flickers, still dares. Thank you.
One more open mic and then we'll have our first feature, and that person will be Brian Egdorf.
Okay, I think I may need to little less up.
Oh, we need to.
Sorry. Oh, it's the other one. Sorry. Yep. Perfect. Hello. I'm going to read 3 poems, and I'm somewhat nervous, so if you see me shaking, that's what that is. Okay. There are great tools, but can you use them? Pushing, dragging, lugging, all together right but fixed. My machine broke, my hand broke, bless me. Couple that with age, not right but exact. I spend these years slinging, and those ones brighten, beautify, and if you must, do so quickly. I'm running low. Second. This is how somebody wrote it. Grows, but thick. Collapsed. Mince words. Jam them. Caress them. The jury says crush them. Build it. Press men and hurry. Say, dance with them. Meaningfully, cart them my way. I know what to do. Okay. When I'm crazy with pressure, reeling, lose the hand, mess me, slightly for breathing purposes, dole it out. Whose face shifts so dramatically, slow? There's your mission, living simply, and I do trample my way up. And how I am tense, not too dreadful, and that's how I please.
Got your pen. Anybody else? Anybody need to sign up who hasn't signed up?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, well, we're gonna move on to our first feature.
I like my hands.
Okay. Jennifer Barone is an Italian-American poet and artist. She's the author of 3 books of poetry, her most recent, Saporoso, Poems of Italian Food and Love. She is known to collaborate with artists and musicians as the host of the monthly WordParty Poetry and Jazz Series. She has been a featured poet at the San Francisco Library, the San Francisco Jazz Poetry and Jazz Festival, San Francisco LitQuake, Marin Poetry Center, the Red Poppy Art House, the DeYoung Museum, San Francisco MoMA, and DeYoung Museum. She's a winner of the 2007 and 2012 San Francisco Public Library Poets 11 contest for North Beach, where she resides and has been published in literary journals such as the Marin Poetry Center Anthology, Foreign Literary Magazine of CCSF, the Haight Ashbury Literary Journal, Quiet Lightning, Sparkle, and Blink. She is currently working on a new collection of poetry. Welcome, Jennifer Barone.
So, thank you, Greg, and Clara for having me here. I'm very short, obviously. Thank you. And it's National Poetry Month, and it's National Jazz Appreciation Month as well. So I got my beloved husband here, Daniel Hefes, who is the wonderful musical director of the Nova Jazz Quartet. He recently started, I was seeing him last night, with a band called Jazz the Glass, because he's recently taken up surfing over the COVID break as a new hobby, and he's got a surfing jazz band where they write all the jazz original songs about surfing, which is pretty dope. Check that out. Excuse me, I do need to get my glasses. 1 second. But happy about National Poetry Month. I really was super happy that I could have this date to celebrate it with Greg and Clara and all of you. As I was walking here, though, I didn't really realize that there was this festival happening on the street. And so I was walking, down, and I saw Easter eggs, and I saw bunnies, and I was like, this is so perfect. I'm wearing red for Chinatown, and I see eggs, and I have 3 poems of the light. And Daniel's gonna play it with me. We 3. Once I was an egg, inside my mother, inside my grandmother. We swam for a time together in a small ocean of creation. One breathed and sang, one submerged, sustained by a snake, one an egg waiting to become. Daughter, mother, grandmother I'd never meet, only in spirit. We had this moment together in a watery continuum, stoked by love, shedding its forms in tamora rhythms. We were created by the song of our mother. She hummed her music of the spheres. She rubbed her belly in warm spirals, and muses sparked their poetry, and sirens cried harmonious melodies and spun in figure eights. Tell the stories, she sang. We lived in grottos and sea caves before we crossed the ocean. Remember when we drank from her breast, nourished by the dark waters of love. Ricordi, ricordi, remember. To transform, we emerged. To transform fear and sorrow, we emerged. To break the pattern, we emerged. To return the wild part of us, alive in you, unafraid to sing. Thank you. So my grandmothers, as I mentioned, were from the Bay of Naples, both sides. and very famous for the sirens. The sirens basically created the land. So I come from Siren Land. She wants to be heard. You can feel her longing wind between the cliffs. At night, her cries wash upon the shore, throbbing, throbbing, throbbing against the Sabia Nera. Recessed tides reveal her coral fingers that expand into the underworld. Take me back to the Tyrrhenian Sea. Let my tail unfurl cerulean until I become the sea, subject to the ebb and the flow of her moon desires. Her body that washed upon the shore has become an entire city. And poetry nurtures fire where somber ashes sprout a lemon tree, a ripe tomato, a tender grape. How do I know? I come from Siren Land. I descend from Partenope. My blood runs hot, my fins are cold, and I breathe from my gills in spiral. At night, I grow wings. Let me nurture your leisure. Let it stoke the fire beneath the caldera. Subterranean, volcanic flesh that can dance between woman, fish, and bird. Blood rights. When it's quiet, sirens sing underneath my skin. My blood tells its stories. Blue tide of my grandmothers snake through me, voicing their passions. I sing in the dark. I meet my ancestors at crossing chambers of weeping limestone. I enter volcanic pools of red. Blood of bull and wild boar, dark sanctuaries where statues weep and bleed. Obsidian, hardened blood of earth and sacred meteorites are speaking. At night I listen to my blood, the song of my mother, grandmothers, dream of my father, grandfathers. Vibrant musical blood, creating the earth of my body, feeding the grapes, vibrant tomatoes in depths of mineral flavors. I eat the sea, I drink the land. In microcosmic infusions of love, wild, untamable blood that can fly across oceans, miraculous volcanic blood growing flagrant, flaming roses in the spiraling caldera of me. Del ovo. She holds the egg. She is the egg. Her body is soil for the egg. Creates the egg. She who builds, who moves, who dances. Bird woman when women were sirens. Who swam the bay of Santa Lucia. Whose eyes grant third eye vision. Passing between thresholds, her feathered egg hidden inside the Castel del Ovo. Her sacred shores, the egg, suspended in a glass amphora over the heads of philosophers and ghosts. The primordial seed is swinging from the shafters, and her cage song is keeping the city safe from volcanic eruptions. The egg rolls softly over the skin. The pure and powerful egg, with its delicate shell, lifting the eye from you, lifting your fears, lifting the heaviness of earthly beings in the garden of delights. The egg, protected by the warm feathers of the mother, coax you to fruition. Dipped in waves that beat against the tides. Ricordi, ricordi, ricordi. Remember where you come from. Remember who you come from. DNA. Would it name 14 generations of longing in my bones? Multi-dimensional hands that reach across space, hairs that stand on end when I smell coffee grinds percolating in the basement. Would it draw intertwining strands, carrying desire I don't understand? Fibonacci sequence of bones. In my hands, that sign language from across the street, would they decode the imprint of songs sung from balconies? The smell of anise, licorice, and fennel. Would it explain the wild look in my eyes, the pattern of ache that grows around me? Make a home in heart chambers, thumping, beating like a fist against a wooden table, clapping hands that keep molecules underfoot, that track roots into depths and thermal waters that lead from eyes that have seen too much. Would it show pumping steam propelling a ship across the Atlantic? Foghorn announcing its passage through ancient waters of red, carving spiral pathways into the ocean, cobalt blue like you've never seen, winding song of my blood. Estatica. I'll do a call and response to it. Siamo estasiati. Siamo nati dall'estasi. We are ecstatic. We are born from ecstasy. Un grande amore vive nel nostro sangue, come il Vesuvio, come l'Etna. Siamo in fiamme. A great love lives in our blood, like Vesuvio, like Etna. We are on fire. Corriamo attraverso la foresta del tempo. We run through the forest of time. Corriamo verso I fiumi e le sorgenti sacre. Run to the sacred rivers and the springs. Corriamo dal nostro madre il mare. Run to our mother the sea. Siamo vivi insieme alla terra. Noi siamo la terra. Viva con la scintilla del suo amore. Alive with the earth, we are the earth. Alive with the spark of her love. Le nostre parole sono estatiche. Our words are ecstatic. Parliamo per vocali, cantiamo quando parliamo. We speak in vowels. We sing when we speak. Ah, e, I, oh, ooh. La nostra lingua è musicale, la nostra musica è estatica, vuole rendere estatico anche te. Our language is musical. Our music is ecstatic. It wants to make you ecstatic too. Cantiamo quando mangiamo, il nostro cibo è fatto di amore. Siamo quello che mangiamo, siamo estasiati. We sing when we eat. Our food is made of love. We are what we eat. We are ecstatic. Siamo fatti di amore. Noi siamo amore. We are made of love. We are love. This poem actually is a little bit about Appalachia, you know, our dear lovely Appalachia. You'll know about what I mean by the first few lines. This is called Gabish. When she says the word talk and coffee, I die inside. My heart warms to the sound of those words, as if I saw an old friend walk down the street who recognizes me in the place of no belonging. I don't know how far I've drifted now. They've washed those words from my mouth, shoved missing letters on the end of my words, asked me to place my tongue at the top of my palate and repeat. Take the time to talk to Tony. Take the time to talk to Tony. Not take the time to talk to Tony. Take the time to talk to Tony. I feel like it's taken me a lifetime to know who I am. Or would I even say to Tony the name of my uncle? I want to speak a language we both don't feel embarrassed to understand, you know? I don't speak Italian, I speak Brooklynese. My father used to say the mixed up words of Southern Italian dialects and English, whose heavy sounds counted the rolling, sing-song Italian that they never taught me, that I struggle now so hard to learn. We are like those words, jumbled with our own sign language, and only my hands truly understand who I am. A romantic curve shoved into the sharpened box, into the name of the survival. Still, I am trying to learn my native tongue, to speak with my noni in my dreams, but it does not exist anymore. My grandfather would ask me, my grandmother would ask me, Gabish Italian, and I was instructed to say, no Gabish. No Gabish. How badly I want to Gabish now. Gabish Italian. I feel as though I'm drifting further away from myself. A siren washed upon dry land with my gills heaving from exhaustion. Where is my song? Where is my song that moves like water? And if I were to sing it, what language would it be? Not Italian, not dialect, it's a lost language. Can't you see me breathing from the shore, heaving, waving my hands? Gabish, gabish, gabish. It sounds like waves hitting the side of a boat, lapping onto black sand. I want to understand. I want to understand. The last poem. When I cook you, when I want to impress you, when I want to impress you, bello, I cook you bronzini, with its fins and its eyes still gazing at you. Perhaps you think I'm cruel, as I open his mouth with my fingers and I make him sing to you. You didn't hear, but I named him Giovanni and I baptized him. He multiplied to feed the masses. You didn't see that I massaged him with olive oil. I filled him with lemon and thyme. When he arrives on the platter, you say, how beautiful he is, decorated with capers and pepper like a king from the sea. And he can say what everyone longs to hear, that he was truly loved. Happy Poetry Month! Applause, please, for Mr. Daniel Heffes and
All right, wow. Can we have another hand for Jennifer Barone? And for Dan on sax. Okay. Next up, we've got. Welcome to the world of Alan Harris. Followed by Zach Melander and David Erdreich.
Thank you, Jennifer, for your wonderful poetry and for being my size. So I'm going to read two pieces from my latest collection. It's called The Voices in My Head Mean Well, and it's available on Amazon and at all fine bookstores. Oh wait, there are no bookstores, so it's just available at Amazon. I'm listening to music online. I try to just close my eyes and lose myself in its tone, its melody, its harmonics. I try to let it take me to the place where the artists who composed and performed this music had intended to transport me. But my eyes keep opening involuntarily, and my gaze keeps drifting over to the screen of the device from which the music is emanating. I can't help but watch as the counter along the bottom of the screen ticks away the seconds of the song that is currently playing. And instead of experiencing music on the levels that it should be experienced, physically, emotionally, intellectually, I am distracted by the passage of those seconds, the tiny flecks of time that expire right before my eyes, turning into a digital dust that is then carried away by a virtual wind, never to be seen again. The song can be repeated, but the seconds that tick by are new ones, drawn from the ever-decreasing store of time that was allotted to me when I was lucky enough to have been delivered into this world. And I bemoan the thought that time, once a luxury taken for granted, is now a precious commodity of which I feel I must be very protective, ironically leading me to spend valuable nuggets of time obsessively monitoring its usage and assiduously planning its application. And now, in my life, so infested with technology, counters abound, fragmenting time, the fragments accumulating like stones piled on top of me. And I should probably just stop looking at counters and try to live more in the moment. But I've never been good at living in the moment because moments are so short. And just when you start to live in one, just when you get all nicely tucked into it, it passes. And then you have to move on to the next moment and get all settled in there. And then that moment passes. And then you have to move on to the next moment. It's a lot of work, this living in the moment. I'm getting tired just thinking about it. So maybe I'll just go back to listening to music on vinyl. That will at least be one less counter to obsess over. One less insistent reminder of time passing. One less fragmentation grenade exploding against the surface of time. And the worst part of all, I don't even like this song. Just keep writing. Never take the pen off the page. Just keep writing, even if you can't think of anything to write about. Just keep writing. Even if you just keep writing the phrase, just keep writing, over and over again. Just keep writing. Let whatever is in your head just spill out onto the page. Oh, wait a minute. Are you kidding? I mean, are you sure about this? Do you have any idea of what is in there? Are you at all aware of the sick and twisted shit that is contained within the receptacle known as your mind? The depraved ideas that would make the thoughts in Charles Manson's head seem like a letter from the Pope? Do you really want those cerebral etchings from the psyche of a madman to be let loose? You could be unleashing forces that might very well change the world in horrible and irrevocable ways. No, you need to stop this. You need to put the depraved cork back in the bottle. You need to put the sick and twisted toothpaste back into the tube. You need to shut, lock, and board up the door to your mind. Go back to writing the kind of glib nonsense that people will forget about 2 minutes after they have read it. All the things that keep you psychologically constipated, fear, inhibitions, short attention span, are there for a reason. Let others create true and lasting art by tapping into the deepest, darkest recesses of their minds, by plumbing the depths of their subconscious, by burrowing down until they find themselves face to face with the core of their very being. You need to just write your little jokes, make your superficial observations, do whatever it takes to keep the living, breathing, shaking, squirming, flexing, preening, pulsating, gyrating, pogoing, jitterbugging, jack-jumping, show-stopping evil within you from ever seeing the light of day. Put down the pen. Put down the pen. Drop the pen. Drop the pen. Just stop writing.
You get whatever. Steve, you're definitely right that bad.
Next up, we have Jack Melander, followed by David Irving.
More pages of my poem, got the guy keeping feeling in what we breathing because I can't just not feel any more blues.
Step right up to the mic.
Drove out west where tuition was cheap, got waylaid into a ghetto hippie commune where free love proved a vow you couldn't keep. Though onto two non-jealous nymphs you glom you and your artist pal. Then mine starved to duck the draft, and when I mentioned college, the girls just laughed. Got the guy to keep on feeling even when leaving me breathing because I can't just not feel anymore. Blues. Footnote. I'm the one who didn't hold free love together in a world of possessiveness and jealousy, though my buddy and I couldn't be sure whether our girls, having ravished us thoroughly, couldn't just up and do the same for another. And when we asked him, Barone agreed that my buddy and I could be each other. We four had commitment and variety. Till the draft wrote my friend, and he grew quite thin, so since one of our girls had an aunt who could cover their expenses, till his 4F deferment came in, they left. 4 people, each with just one lover, living as couples in a strange sin. I had to use the GI Bill as protest swept through town. I quit my drugs and smokes to try another way. With clerical and class work endless sitting down, I jog, skate, or cycle miles every other day after work hours, dumbing down on weed to revive me for lectures on creativity. Snapshot of MoMa. Here I am gliding downhill toward an intersection, making a sudden right turn off the toe stop of my left skate to avoid slamming into a crossing semi. 3 years on, art student, gutter snipe, in interesting times, I found him seldom right to take off work to meet with profs after class or have an affair with some accommodating lass. Only work days, then study for honor roll, nights full of sirens as the riots took their toll. Got the guy to keep on feeding even when it leaves me bleeding because I can't just not feel anymore. Blues. Someone who could take me home to meet her mother. They treat me with warm deference and regard, but frequently they had one absent brother and son. To speak of him was always hard. So how that summer could I check where he was at? Just join the poor some night, fight back. That's that. Got the guy to keep on feeding even when it leaves me bleeding because I can't just not feel anymore. Blues. Footnote. 5 wars ago, I thought I might be big in solidarity with gambling guys I'd seen do riot slouch eyes get a pig. If you can't fight, this might not prove too wise. In jail my first night there, a bunch of dudes jumped a young grass dealer late one night, who next day called the guards, me includes as one of his attackers. So then right into the compound, a paddy wagon, wherein I, with 5 rapists accused, had sat half an hour, my spirits flagging. The victim changed his mind. I was excused. Could I, my fellow inmates' taunts survive? One turned me on a pump and iron. He, a genie black, desired I stay alive. Who wonder why, still pumping iron. Girls of the office mains respect the college man, like classmate girls who see that he must work. Incredibly though, either place a fellow can probably get lucky who flirtation doesn't shirk, since strapped for time and cash, with mere technique I sometimes found a lover for an evening or a week. My black sheepskin was sent by snail mail. They save ceremonies for grads who don't hit cops. Times changing, school, job, prospects fail with civil service once if your test score stops. Humanities scholars toiling far afield, so happy for a gig that makes us nothing but well-heeled.
And next up, we have David Erdreich, followed by Barbara Saunders and Sarah Menifee. Does anyone else want to sign up who hasn't signed up?
Thank you, Clara Sue, for being here and being living history. I have 2 medium-length, page and a half each. This is on the diagonal. Augur, augury, the giant screw that seeks by twisting into the world. The Roman practice of predicting the future by eviscerating the entrails of birds. Typical European white man's stupidity. All animals eliminate, even plants drop leaves. They would have done better to watch living birds and their habits instead of killing them to observe their shit. Beware the Ides of March. A great extinction is in progress. Bird numbers have dropped precipitously. Audubon was a genius, also a braggart, a master draftsman, wanderer in the best American tradition, and a faithful husband spending long periods of time away from his wife, a naturalist who shot and killed birds. In Doonesbury, Jeremy Cavendish, erstwhile caretaker to Lacey, a dementing senior, has a heart attack while photographing the last Bachman's warbler, an East Coast native which has gone extinct in our time. Murder and greed, these are the 2 underpinnings of the American dream. Diversity is the obverse of these 2 factors. It enables life to be resilient and engaging in the face of adversity. It is not until now that the lumber industry has been shown to be greedy in murdering trees for profit without the balance of self-sustenance. Italo Calvino, the Baron in the trees, centuries ago, the Baron could cross Italy by tree, sea to sea, never touching the ground. No forest there at all in central Italy now. Isaac Asimov's first law of robotics: do no harm to human beings. However, there is an elephant in the room. Enter drones and the world's most potent Murder Incorporated, the Central Intelligence Agency. Drones are used through their international cat's paws, murdering children, collateral damage, at funerals and weddings, accountable to no one. Funded by US tax dollars. The real deep state, which spawns the current Pandora's box of vitriol and hate, which cannot be closed once opened. Their list of ongoing violent conflicts and oppressive dictators past and present stretches worldwide. When Malcolm X said the chickens have come home to roost, he was referring to JFK's murder when he considered disbanding the firm after its 14-year existence, following the Bay of Pigs fiasco in Cuba. COVID. Bad science gone wrong in China. Pointing fingers at China does not address the problem. It's like closing the barn door once the horse has galloped off. White privilege. The 45th president. COVID, oh, it's nothing. It will go away. Hate and greed nourished by fear. Green and Broger. Loose cannons out of control, out of touch. Victims of abuse, propelling their own disease upon others. 3-year-olds stamping their feet. In Brazil, diversity has integrated all the people. United Snakes, take note, for it's coming to a theater near you in just one more generation. The alt-right is constantly using murder as a threat. They also adore suicide. These are species enders, extinctions. The human animal is the most dangerous being on the planet. The right has no real working overview of community, no viable plan. Privilege and greed come first. They are also their own worst enemy. They constantly splinter over who's in charge. Christianity and its denominations, all religions stuck in dogma, Trump versus DeSantis. US presidents owned slaves. All women are created equal. They vote. They have a say in how democracies are run. They have removed their niqabs. Their wombs are sacred. It's from where we all emerge. There are 10,000 distinct species of birds in the world, each one on a different lifeline. They have their differences, but they manage to live together. See if you can respect that. On a lighter note, I'm a local in the East Bay edible mushroom collector, so this is Perc du Soleil.
Yeah.
The chanterelle slides into the soup. April approach for a ride in a coach. It stands to reason, changing the season, end of the skein, decrease of the rain. It imbibed the sun in an orange burst. It won't be the last. It isn't the first. Lengthening days now capture more rays. Gradient sublime in this temperate clime. Ascend the taste buds. Invite them all in. Ingredients multiple, robust or thin. Beads of barley drops absorb grains, greens, and fungus to form the core. Episote, howls coyote. A single leaf is all you need. Stinging nettle tests your mettle. Collect it before it goes to seed. A splash of wine will taste just fine. Admit it's not floral. Add one sheaf of sorrel. Salt and pepper to tickle your tongue. An ode, a pan to broth. To broth is sung. Kale and collards in moderate amount. A pinch of oregano add to the count. Wee bit of cayenne will nicely do, but please keep it fluid. We don't want a stew. Mushrooms sliced lengthwise, exposed inner edge. Exquisite aroma, the best I can pledge. Wait, don't forget onions sautéed before they join, or substitute shallots if you've got the coin. Steamed vegetable water makes a good base. Now simmer it slowly, avoid a high flame, leave nothing to waste. Perhaps this time around, add clear threaded noodle. On impulse, some dulse. The whole kit and caboodle can then heat a bit so we don't serve it cold. Address, tuck and bibber. Now bring me your bowl. pen handy.
Next up, we have Love Saunders.
I have 3 short ones. First, Atonka, Endless Love. Grandma draws my bath. Sun shining through the window, steam and lavender warm my skin and soothe my heart from half century away. The marvelous flock begins with an epigram. To man has been the grief, often, of seeing his gods overthrown and his altars crumbling. But to the wolf and the wild dog that have come in to crouch at man's feet, this grief has never come. Jack London. I turn an ear toward the trill and see a fat robin, but I'm too greedy to feel wonder at this ordinary bird. I look for the marvelous flock that sometimes follows, the cedar waxwing, bright yellow tails like Chan Master's paintbrushes gone feral, peachy breasts and bandits' masks, whistling calls and berry guano, drunk as 800 he John Gu passed out in bright red lotus flowers. To woman comes the joy, on occasion, of seeing her goddess revel in playful excess. And if she understands what this means, no fruit is forbidden, and no one can take her joy from her. And this is my last one. Coco Van and Claire Fontaine. The waiters wear black bow ties and crisp white shirts. Serve ice cream sundaes for breakfast, strawberries the best. And the cheapest dish on the menu is coco bag et pommes frites, the Loire Valley equivalent of a burger and fries. Time capsule of the 1950s, it's a cobblestone stroll away from an ancient cathedral where between communion wafer and ceremonial wine, one kisses the tombs of infants buried there in the 1500s. A Claire Fontaine French-ruled notebook holds a shopping list for tonight's dinner and my hopes for the long future.
Next up, we'll have Sarah Menifee, and then we'll have our second feature.
Thank you, Greg and Clara. This is the best reading going. However, commercial break, 2 weeks from today at the Black and Brown Social Club from 6 to 8. That's at 474 Valencia near 16th. Sorry, I don't have flyers. We have our Poetry and Revolt open mic. If you want a little thing, I've got a few. Please come. So, I was inspired to write this just now by the thing about living in the moment. To be on time or get in trouble. This was the first wound against eternity in its next young body. Boy, I was always in return. A dear old friend with his new fiancée came back to the city after years away. They panhandle every day, Spange, spare change, down by the ferry building, pelicans sailing above. To get up the $45 for another night in the Tenderloin Hotel. These nights are too cold to be out on the street, and I in my warm little room, too weak to go visit him and meet his new love. Okay. Demon. I want a minor demon to come around now and then, to poke me with his little stick of foolish passion and small hot brand of obsession. one more time on my weary flesh, and then to go away for a calm spell a while in between, but not too long.
Okay, now we come to our second feature of the afternoon. Sally Love Saunders. Sally wrote her first poem about the Northern Lights when she was in kindergarten. Now, 9,000 poems later, she has dedicated her life to encouraging people of all ages and cultural backgrounds to get in touch with their own poetic insides. This passion has taken her to do poetry writing in such places as migrant farm laborers in upstate New York and in Florida. She also, the State Department also sent her all over Appalachia to teach teachers how to teach poetry writing. She now hosts a monthly poetry conference call of her own poetry, and some guy named Greg Pond, who's been basically Sally's my poetry mentor. So we've worked together for quite a while, and she recently published a collection called Sally's Casserole, which I had the pleasure of helping to coordinate for her. And she's here, she's got some books, she's got a lot of energy, and here's my poetry mother, Sally Love Saunders.
I have some books here if anybody wants them over there on the table. And in looking forward to today, all my poems want to come. But you know, the bag would only hold just so many. And I wanted to start off with this one, Sally's Casserole, which Greg was the obstetrician for her. Sally's Casserole without Greg. And planning. Oh, have I ever planned for today? Oh, I've been so excited. And now it's here. Oh, I'm about to take off. So keep the door open. Don't keep the door shut. Stitch, stitch, stitch. So many stitches to hold my life together. Basting, planning, resetting, fittings. Daydreaming, turning slowly round in front of mirror. I think of a sewing machine that can stitch so fast. And I think of embroidery with patient, calm women when time is not the issue. My life, combining colors, seams so it will fit, so it will be smooth. I remember as a child making doll clothes. The pleasure was in the making, not in looking at the finished product.
Yeah.
Greg, you'll have to tell me when my time's up because I won't be bothered with my watch. Mommy, I am you when you were me now. Then I was young and you were old. Now I am old like you used to be. I am you like you were when you were me. Have you ever had that experience? Yes. You look in the mirror, oh my God, my mother's here. Oh, you look at your hand, oh my gosh, what's your hand doing on me?
Yeah.
I can't keep up with myself. I can't keep up with myself. Can't keep up with myself. I say, well, I'll give a lecture, and then when the time comes, and it's up to it, I invite someone over, and when the evening comes, I want to do both. I want to do something totally different. I can't keep up with myself. My taller self goes ahead. The real younger me cannot keep up. I need my magnifying glass. Need my other eyes. Okay, here we go. Buckets. When I was 6 and I had a tin bucket that was colorful and rusty, it held sand but not water. Yet Bucket and I went to the beach daily to enjoy sun, water, and sand. Now I'm old. I have a make-believe bucket, a bucket list of all I want to do before I die. Before I kick the bucket, as when I was 6 and had a bucket, this bucket has holes, so sometimes what I put in it leaks out. I cannot control what stays and what leaks out, because often sand leaks out with water. So there's never been a bucket in my life that holds all I want to hold. Here's another book that has some poems that I wanted to share with you. This one, you can see this picture here. Patchwork Quilt Day. Today is a bits and pieces sewn together day. All those odd chores that need to be attended to are pieces sewn together with jagged stitches. Wash hair, see about shaky washer and dryer, buy a raincoat. All such disjointed activities. My cousins made a beautiful patchwork quilt out of odd pieces of scrap material, so smoothly connected, creating an art piece that's hanging on the walls of an art gallery. And so my day, to make it an art piece of scraps and odds and ends of activities, creating the patchwork quilt of today. By the way, am I reading too fast? Okay. I'm a word painter. I'm a word painter.
Yes, you are.
I'm a word painter. I carve sentences out of soapstone and rub my hand over them until they are smooth. I'm a balloon woman. Many colorful balloons follow me. I can choose which idea, which plan, or which person to see at whim. Easily I can let one balloon float away and I can let the air out. I like to be a squirrel, easily running up and down tree trunks. I'm a gold panner, finding gold nuggets of poetry in people who thought there weren't any. I'm a poet. Words are my craft. Like a blacksmith, I hammer and hammer away until the lines fit. Into the furnace of my mind they go, and out into the cool, onto the metal working space. Sometimes I'm a glass blower. The fire of my feelings, forging shapes and forms. Sometimes I'm a smiling, toothless 6-year-old with pigtails, saucer eyes, and big smile. Sometimes I'm an adolescent, moody, wondering, who am I? Who am I? I'm the question, not the answer. Oh, I love writing about the moon. The moon. I have a whole book about moon poems. This thick. Yeah. Full moon. It is 4 a.m. Very full moon is leading the whole world in spirituals. I can hear outside my window. Full moon, you are leading us in song. Bug eyes. Oh, yes. I hear. Now there is hushed silence, like only at a symphony hall before music begins. You are here listening, enjoying divine spirituals. The moon in its full bloom, perfect state, like a peacock with feathers full. ran along beside me. It kept me company for the whole trip. Then it ran off when the plane landed. I seem to have that connection with the moon. Often when I travel, there it is to greet me.
Because you're a poet.
When I was little, I used to say to my mother, moonlight, 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 and jump up and down. She'd put me, we lived in a farmhouse where there was windows with crevices. And I'd just sit there and be with the moon. And she'd say, well, haven't you had enough moon time? No. Never. Me and the moon want to be together. Go away. Oh, there's so much I want to read you. Fine. There is a place where time is stopped, where the gulls glide with the wind, and myriad ripples of the water flicker like a flock of birds. A poet lived here and then died, leaving its inspiration. The tide comes in and out, leaving its treasures. We too came here for a while and left, leaving behind golden minutes. I want to tell you, I have a email list called Live Poets, and if anybody wants to be on it, just give me your email address, because there's, like, for example, there's a Zoom program every 3 months for poets, for me and my friends. And so I want lots of people there, you know, to share with the space for poetry. John Rowe runs it. I think, Michael, do you still have any flyers on it? Oh, good. What? Oh, okay, good. But I do different things at different times. If anybody wants to be on my email list, just give me your email address, please. The me nobody knows. The me nobody knows. Wears tall, high boots and walks horse-eyed dogs down Fifth Avenue, wearing huge dark glasses and exotic hats and long earrings and elevated shoes. The me nobody knows is skinny and tall and turns heads. The me nobody knows is a pipe dream. There is a place where time is stopped, where the gulls glide with the wind, and myriad ripples of the water flicker like a flock of birds. A poet lived here and then died, leaving its inspiration. The tide comes in and out, leaving its treasures. We too came here for a while and left, leaving behind golden minutes. I spent most of my life, or a lot of my life, having fun going around to schools with children and getting them in touch with their own creativity. And I was called the poetry lady. And I would come with a big wicker basket with all kinds of inspiration ideas. For example, I brought in Scotch tape, one of the poem starters. This little 3-year-old kid goes, "Oh, my mother uses that on her hair." And everybody starts laughing. And they all start writing about their mothers and the silly things that their mothers do from a third grader's point of view. And I just had so much fun doing that. In those days, I could just call up a school and say, "Hi, my name is Sally Lowe. Can I come do poetry?" "Sure, when do you want to come?" Now, you have to be fingerprinted. We have to do a background check on you. Oh my gosh, they've got so many things they have to do to find out if I'm going to be okay, and all I want to do is have fun with the kids. I'm glad I didn't have to have a background check to come in here today. Or fingerprinted. How much time do I have, Greg? I'm having a good time.
Oh, you've got about another 6 minutes.
How many?
6 minutes.
Oh, good. I have no sense of time. I'm having so much fun up here. You're the best audience. Love being an aunt. I've got 55 nieces and nephews. I swear to God, you know, sometimes I'll be sitting in a group of older people and they'll go, oh, I have 3 nieces and 2 nephews and 8 grandchildren. And someone else will go, well, I have 9 grandchildren and 4 brothers and sisters. So it goes around and I'm always the last. And I go, I've got 55 nieces and nephews. Love being an aunt. Love being an aunt many times to a tribe of nieces and nephews, and to great nieces and nephews. Being an aunt, I've enjoyed my nieces and nephews from the start, and like reading a good book, watch them emerge and flower. Love following their adventures and life stages. You know, some started off as serious adults. I'm not kidding. My nephew Terry, he used to sit in the corner with an anatomy book. Anatomy book, you know, when he was just a kid.
What does he do now?
Now that he's older, he's become childlike. He's become childlike. He collects all kinds of baubles and this and that, because I zoom with him, I can see what he has in there now. And he's 71. He's 71. Let me see. Some started off as serious stuff. Now they're out older and become childlike. I'm enjoying their child spirit. What next? What will unfold? Like a colorful advent calendar they are. More windows will open. I have a spreadsheet of all my nieces and nephews.
Google or Excel?
What?
Google or Excel?
Oh, you got me now. Someone's helping me with my spreadsheet. Downsizing, 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 downsizing. Time to talk about downsizing. A poem or a song should be written about downsizing. I love that word, down. Let's all say it together. Downsizing. When I was a teenager, the buzzword was junior prom. Then it was talk about getting married and having babies. Now I'm in my 80s, and I have many friends there too. And what do we talk about now? Downsizing. Great chorus. Downsizing. Whoops, it's your turn. Downsizing has created a new look for my apartment. Parts of it look new, like a minimalist would have, giving away treasures to younger family or friends, ensuring they have a longer life, like at Easter time. Now with my hunting for places to put treasures. Downsizing has its own beat. First the music of act is slow, then it gets going and picks up speed. Downsizing. A song or a poem should be written about downsizing. Thank you. Thank you very much. You know, when I was in school, I was much more interested in poetry than in studying about the kings of England or all that bullshit they were trying to teach us. And so I would put books in study hall. I would put books, you know, like a fortress around myself, and write. And of course, I had to look up and chew the pencil as if, you know, I was memorizing all these dates. But I had this was boarding school, and I had boxes of shoe boxes with my poetry in it. Because I would sneak out in the middle of the night, especially when there was moonlit night, and I learned if I took the back beans out of the closet, there was space back there where I could have my flashlights and write and eat chocolates. I had to keep them hidden, you know, because the announcer said to me, I think you've overdone this poetry thing. It's time for you to get professional. And when you grow up, you get high heels, and you get married, and you go back and forth to the station, and you go to soccer games. I'd much rather be here.
Me too.
Thank you, thank you. I think I'll take potluck and see what comes up. Sometimes I'm a blues writer, sometimes a blues singer, sometimes a blues sister who can't do anything but watch. It is these times that life is like a sad and empty stage. The lighting is good, the background music is slow and lonely, for life and I are one, sad, empty, and gray. Life is simple now, as only an artist can form. It is a single melody played on a single instrument. Thanks to my sorrows, for it is then that I am a blues writer, a blues singer, and sometimes a blues exister, who can do anything but watch. My words being company. You know, I'll tell you something interesting. I'm going to go to Scotland. I'm going to get in a boat, and I'm going to go up and look at the geology and wild animals. So I thought, oh, I wonder if they have any poetry open mics there. Well, there's a poetry society called Sad Poet Society. Can you imagine such a thing?
Yeah.
I think I want to. What do you think?
We'll cheer them right up.
Take 3 minutes for everybody.
One more, Sally.
What?
One more.
One more. Oh, I'm going to be stalling up here. Oh, the next poem is 45 pages long. But it's just one more. A rose petal. I like to slide down a rose petal on my back and crouch on the bottom and then look up. I like to wrap the petal all around me until I am asleep. Thank you, Greg. Thank you, Claire. So thank all of you so much. Thank you. Oh, wow. Thank you. Oh, wow. I like being up here, so I'm going to take a long time deciding. Thank you. Thank you so much, guys.
Hey.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Another hand for Sally, Love Saunders. Hey, wonderful. All right.
Yeah, thank you.
Next on the open mic list, we have Cesar Love, followed by Bloodflower and E.K. Keith.
Okay, thanks Greg, thanks Sally, thanks Jennifer. It's a pretty fun afternoon. Tough acts to follow, but that's what happens. So my first poem is called Still Lost. Excuse me, is the reading going on? Thanks. Today I found my jacket. It had fallen from a hanger in my closet. Yesterday, I found my glasses. They were spread on my kitchen table. The day before, I found the overdue library book. It had dropped behind my bookshelf. The day before, I found my keys. They were lolling below my desk. Still lost the lyrics to that song. Maybe they lie on the floor of my closet. Still lost my philosophy. Maybe it's sprawled on my kitchen table. Still lost my train of thought. Maybe it hides behind my bookshelf. Still lost my way. Maybe it lurks below my desk. This one's called Jailbreak. Houseplants are bursting their cages. Roots crack open the pots. How they hunger to meet earth. How they desire to hold the hills. My heart is in jailbreak. It cracks open my ribcage. How it hungers to meet earth. How it desires to hold the continents. Okay. Containers. Memories wilt. The vases that kept them resigned, never to hold anything again. Ideas extinguish. The candles that nourish them quit, never to serve anything again. Emotions vinegar. The bottles that store them confess, never to keep anything again. My vases, candles, and bottles gather at the forge. There they thaw to black. Again, my pith becomes vases, candles, and bottles. Maybe bowls, cups, and barrels. Everyone a container I hold in both hands without gloves. I have one more. This one's called Flower Bed of Black. The sun hides, the streetlights glow. I put on my jewelry, I put on my shine shoes. So much becomes in the dark, so much becomes under the neon. Dance moves, laughter, lovers. Oh, playground of night, oh, flower bed of black. I take off my rings, I take off my heels. Thank you, everyone.
Love Flowers next, followed by E.K. Keith.
Just let me kick back and take a look at you. Good looking crew. Backlit and everything. Like a religious icon or something. Yeah. I'm an irreligious person, but somehow I know about religious icons. How do I only wrote, I'm like, hi, I'm Bloodflower, I'm a reluctant earthling. And I only wrote, I'm like one of those underachievers and proud of it. So I only wrote 2 poems this year, and I'm going to lay them on you now. This composition is entitled Grayscale. Coyote, waxing slowly, lopes downwind, seeking game. He's going where the food is. Moon phase is in earth motion. It seems like, it looks like hunger's shadow or like a lean tooth, a grayscale flash, paper thin. Crescent moon, in pale aspect, oxen horns cast in pink gold. Hunger, like water, seeks its own level, leaves a mark. Where lean shadow crawls ripe with overfed twins entwined. This sky tonight has crossed eyes of crimson confetti, neon smears of small pastel houses. That's all right, I never know when my poem's going to end either. This composition is entitled Scrimshaw. Tickle the armpits of the illustrated woman. Sepia images will soon erupt in ripples of distant laughter. In the throes of a tropical heat wave, apply a bracing sea breeze, evoking fractal Long Island iced tea sundowns. It is common knowledge low pressure depression is always temporary, and a spoonful of sugar helps less than nothing. I am a spy in the house of love. My eyes kaleidoscopic shards, blinding flecks of sunlight and a drip of blood. Present time is raven's wing, igniting sparks, smoke bathing, purification of a once clear blue sky of neglected plexiglass. Reluctant earthling, let self go. Butterfly, butterfly, what winking vessel will enclose you in your new death? Firefly, firefly, are you my star of Bethlehem? Thank you.
E.K. Keith
Oh, I
is up
forgot my
next.
pen. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's
I'm
okay.
sorry, E.K.
No worries, get your pen, like
I'm going to get my pen.
After that, I believe it is it Alex?
Thank you.
Alex Nugent? The next.
Hi, everybody. I would have been gotten here sooner, but I rode the new T train, and because I had to come over here from a completely different angle than usual, I spent more time actually staring at the map on my phone than riding the train from Powell. But now I know how easy it is, and it was awesome. I'm so excited about this line. It's cool. All right, so I have 3 little ones. Invocation for 1 million plastic bottles a minute. The demon of water bottles appears in the guise of the goddess of water. Human thirst terrifies, confuses. Both demon and goddess bring water. You choose it. I really enjoyed both the features today. Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, Sally. This one's called Colonized American Daughters. English has left me speechless in at least 3 other languages. My mother tongue ate up all the words that might have been mine. If you can't say it, you can't think it, and you can't do it. What's left? All that's left. A few family keepsakes, some quaint old trinkets, a recipe or two, self-loathing, a desire to fit in. This is how wisdom gets lost and never comes home. I'll be going on a big trip soon. I just got a sabbatical, which I'm very excited about. Thank you. And I wrote this after a summer spent apart. The refrigerator rosé is past its prime, but it's okay. We drink it anyway. We're used to California wine, and this is French, so we pretend it tastes like it should. We sip between tart kisses. I missed you, and I'm so glad you're home. Thank you, Clara Sue, this is beautiful. For the next 2 Wednesdays at the Portola branch of the San Francisco Public Library, I'm doing a workshop followed by a featured poet and open mic. And it's really actually pretty easy to get on the T train from over here and go over there. Like you would just hop off, like, I don't know, maybe at Bayshore and then get on the 8 and then get off at San Bruno and Bacon. It's so easy, right? Like, that's 2 things. And we're used to like, and yeah, and then walk a couple of blocks, like a little exercise. Anyway, if you want one of these, it's free. And happy Poetry Month, everybody. Thanks, Greg. I have to get a pen. Oh, I love it. Thanks, Greg.
Good. Next up, we have Alan Nugent or Alex Nugent. They're still here? Okay. Next will be Han Lee, followed by Nina and Helen Dannenberg.
How you guys doing? This is my first time sharing my poetry with anyone.
No pressure.
Okay. This one is called To Know Where You Are. In the middle of it all, there is a drive, I suppose, to keep moving, directions aside, destinations long forgotten, one foot in front of the other, day after day. In the beginning, the mind was clear, goals set, path laid. And now, after the tumble, the scars earned, lessons learned, and gains made. You wonder how you got there. Where did you get lost, and how you found it? In the middle, the end seems too far to see, elusive as the peak behind the ridge, hidden behind another ridge. You've heard the stories of how they appear suddenly, how you must make each moment count and cherish it all, the good and the bad, and it's all over before you know it. But you just want to know where you are to get your bearings. This one's called The Moment, the Chance. You try for it all your life and some time to come. It's all you think about and there is no guarantee. You try for it until the moment quickly and suddenly hits you in the face. The moment, the one chance. When something grabs you, your balls, your guts, your heart, you step aside, letting the moment pass unchanged. You've tried for it so long and it's gone. Where was the courage that got you there? The tenacity, the indefatigable drive to get you to the other side, the side of having done it. So you hold on to it, to the stepping aside, hold on to it until the next chance, because the trying goes on and chance will come again. Just one more. This one's called Time Allows for Certain Things. Time allows for certain things. Slow organic development of love, flighty emotional roller coaster of young lust, birth, growth, evolution, and eventual blossoming or death of dreams, bursts of ecstasy, stints of devastation, fluttering zeal, lapses of reason, indefatigable pursuit, passing phases, forever loves, deep hatred, unhearing heartbreak, all things that take time is allowed, until one day it runs out. Thank you.
I believe Nina is next, and followed by Helen. Does anyone else want to read that hasn't signed up? Okay. Nina.
Hello.
Hello.
I know we are at time, so I'm just going to be very slow. I'm not going to do that. So this is not poetry. I'm very honored to be here. Wonderful, wonderful day. Boo! I'm going to start. This is called Gorgeous, Gorgeous Man. If right before the start of this pandemic, you had a slow glance at an older, tall, fit, and gorgeous black man in his music studio with a very cool storefront in a hip part of San Francisco, in all likelihood, you would have ended up with a mix of crushes and nostalgic feelings toward him, and all he could represent in your sick mind. In that case, do not, I repeat, do not approach him the first chance you get after the pandemic. You would probably make a huge fool of yourself. For example, imagine this. You're walking your roommate's very cute chihuahua, and suddenly you notice the cool studio isn't closed, and there are people who are actually moving around inside. You decide to make your move. You walk to the entrance with your dog. You see the gorgeous, gorgeous man. You ask in your weird, accented English, "May I come in?" He looks slightly surprised at the question, but the spectacle of the little dog makes the air palatable, and he smiles at you, gesturing with his manly hand coming out of a tweed jacket to come in. You enter, you state your name, and tell him when you saw him the first time. He loosens up, and you feel relaxed air emanating from his direction. You introduce the dog, George, and say George is of a royal lineage. He's a descendant of King George, the father of Queen Elizabeth, the ailing British monarch. It's downhill from there. You fucked up. You try to regain your footing and look down and see a beautiful Persian rug. Somehow it helps you continue. So what you do in this studio, you already know he teaches people how to DJ, but you still ask. He's now moving around and is about to get busy with setting up a turntable and such. That exact moment, George, the royalty, approaches him with his adorable eyes, shaking that little nub of a tail. He's visibly pleased that George is giving him attention and asks your permission to give him a treat. You say, yes, of course, George loves free stuff, as all of his colonizer ancestors have before him. And you awkwardly laugh because you know you just fucked up more. The gorgeous, gorgeous man looks at you in an amused collage of severity and confusion. I don't like colonizers, which is why I didn't like the story you made up about George earlier. You don't say anything. What's there to say? You watch George gobble up a treat stick, the size of one of his legs, in one go. You thank the man, you wish him a great evening and leave. On the way home, all you can think of is a new story to tell the next time you see the man. Make no mistake, there will be a next time. There will be a better story. A story where George is a descendant of some sacred animal guardians of Aztec temples who defended their culture and tradition against the radical Christian mercenaries of the Spanish Empire, ruining green forests and blue rivers to dig up gold and silver. George loves the kindness and generosity of treat givers because it reminds him of the tall shadows of the Aztec temples of his guardian ancestors. He gets so excited that he has to gobble any treat stick in one go. Will the gorgeous, gorgeous man like this new story? Will he offer to give you attention? Will he offer you a cup of tea? Will he listen to your stories? How much fun is to imagine all of that, you ask? I don't know. I know nothing, but I know a gorgeous, gorgeous man when I see one. Thank you.
Helen Dedenberg.
Oh, I don't think I can grow that fast.
Yeah, that's okay. Okay, thank you. This is called On My Own. The moon has found me tonight, and I have found the moon. In the main room, shining in, touching in. Thank you, moon, this unsettling evening. Thank you for visiting, for shining where I could see, for another new, another first in my new life. He used to call and say, look at the moon, never again. Now the moon must find me, and I must find the moon. In his left hand. Every morning, my tea, the black tea bag, Whole Foods 365, the corners cut, then a green tea bag, filled with boiling water to the brim, cover with a small dish, carry carefully to the table, mustn't break it. Precious familiar cup, holds memories, a photo, grumpy morning man, drinking his coffee, black and white cup, big, the white handle, held in his left hand. Toucan and Alameda. We go out, we mean to walk, but time is too short. Go to the streetcar stop, not the pretty one with trees and blooms, where we bring our wonder. The one more in the world, where the garbage can is so overflowing, it cannot accommodate more. The streetcar, we wear our masks. Some do, some don't. Will we get to 30th and Dolores in time for us to get the number 24 bus to the library for a 10 a.m. event? Anxiety. You know we should have left earlier. Envision the cat o' nine tails we beat ourselves with. The group is welcoming. Works to sustain wonder. Anxiety. Maybe best to make a doll rather than stick it with pins. Talk to it, croon to it, make it so comfortable it melts away. So much comes at us, so much we go to. Hear it, feel it, look at it. Don't drown, walk the sand contemplating, don't be afraid. We've come this far. My father said, everybody dies. There are wild parrots in San Francisco and Brooklyn, now a toucan in Alameda. Walk on with hope in your heart. Get out of grief's antlers. Trudge, skip, spring, leap. Hold baby's wondrous eyes in your eyes and heart. The wind. The wind has a life, has a big longing, has power. I want to be warm, protected, grounded, maybe with weighted boots so I don't blow away. Sometime in the 1960s, when I lived on the Lower East Side, I made the gourmet cookbook Sachertorte, followed the recipe very carefully. I offered a piece to my next door neighbor. She said, no, I'm on a diet. I never forgave her. Thanksgiving. I would not go to daily dance class the week before. I would plan, shop, prepare, turkey with chestnut stuffing, squash, sweet potatoes. What was for dessert? Hard to remember. I would invite waifs,
people who did not have family in New York. How did we fit in the tiny little kitchen in the railroad flat? Does the wind know everything? Does it keep all the secrets? Those days, does it remember of youthful, hopeful naivete? Can it tell me my own secrets? The sadnesses. Gather together your sadnesses together. Put them in a softly lined box like kittens. They will jump out and reappear, then go back. But unlike kittens, never away. Living with them is the only way. Does telling help? Depends on to whom. Someone who will understand, not respond with platitudes. I would rather have plates full of sweets and chips. You cannot convince someone to make their sadnesses go away. Sadnesses, sadnesses go away. Little old lady Helen wants to play. Survive, enjoy time left. The light show in the bathroom, the bright sun covering my eyes as I eat breakfast. The sadnesses hang on my heart, pull it down achingly. Needed something with wheels to help when I am out and about. Out walking with a friend, my sadnesses took me completely. There was no need, only sadnesses, with a new ingredient, fear of time, gone and to come. I returned home, wondering how, why, to what purpose, looking for an antidote. The additional dragging down of a telephone encounter. Down, down. Then call a friend, take a shower, write. Envision a future, walking hand in hand, holding the hand of a sweetie. I will be, ... He will be. Two daddy long legs in the bathroom. I wish you well. Dark spider above the kitchen counter. I wish you well. Please reciprocate.
Oh, my. I thought he was giving out chocolates, that's why I
Well, we've come to pretty much the end. I will share.
How about you read it?
I'll share one poem. All right, this is entitled "The Earth's in Crisis." The Earth's in crisis. The Earth is reeling. The Earth is crying. The Earth is screaming and bleeding. The Earth is dying right before our eyes. With the severity of hurricanes, heat waves, environmental abuse, misuse and neglect, blistering cold, record lows, and years of human disrespect, the Earth's in crisis. The ice cap melts. As the globe warms, the climate changes, we wonder what comes next. How do we expire the fires that ravage and scorch the land? When will we ever stop dropping oil and plastics in the ocean and in the sand? The Earth's in crisis. If we continue to pollute Mother Earth and Sister Sea, there'll be no legacy for our youth, daddy animals, or brother trees, which will spell the demise of the planetary family. The Earth's in crisis. Can't you hear? Can't you feel? Can't you see? The Earth is reeling. The Earth is crying. The Earth is screaming and bleeding while we are all dying right before its eyes. The Earth's in crisis. I know we're running late, but I'm going to share just one more. I'm going to dedicate this to a friend of mine who passed away a year ago. And this is entitled Funeral Face. You struck such a serious pose in the funeral photo they chose. Even a blind man could tell you were pissed as hell that suddenly, without warning, the grim reaper came a-calling before the tolling of a bell. You thought you wouldn't hear play well until you turned old man gray. But when you try to get up, when it's time to rise and shine, you can't seem to wake. You can't open your eyes. Is this a joke someone's playing? Someone said they heard you died. Though you try your best to deny it, you can't prove they're lying. For without whisper, warning, or shout, your character's been written out, just like in a drama on Broadway, when the black curtain falls before the third act of the play, with no chance for curtain call. You wonder, was that all there is, or should there have been more? Because despite how much we'd wish it otherwise, while our lives can be capricious, our death is always sure. So it's time for both of us to accept that when the next visitor rings, it won't be you standing at my door, flashing your own brand of crazy with just that little extra bit of zany that helped break the sameness of my day-to-day mundane. At night I pray that somewhere beyond the Milky Way, you're grinning ear to ear as you star on heaven's stage, even though on the earth below, judging by this photo they chose, they've cast my fun-loving friend in the recurring role, man with the serious funeral face. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. This is another wonderful afternoon. Thank you to our features, Jennifer Barone, Love Saunders. Thanks to all of you who read, and thanks to all of you who just came and listened and supporting the poetry community. Thank you so much. Come back next month, the third Saturday, I believe it's May 20th. We will have Dave Holt and Gail Mitchell as our features. So please come and call your friends. Thank you so much. Also, Sally Love Saunders has some books over here, which she's just offering for free. So if you like one of her books, it's right over there and help yourself to Sally's also, one more announcement. There are some mugs over here.